Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm your host, Rob Younts, and thank you so much for tuning back into the Canecast show. If today's your first episode, you're in for a treat. If you've been with us before, we really appreciate you coming back. But either way, today's guest is the top 5 prospect in all of baseball. Before we get into that, I'd like to ask a favor of you. Help us grow this show. You can do that in many ways. First and foremost, smashing the like button. Whether you are watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast host, give us a like. Smash it. 2, drop us a comment to let us know what you like about the show or you don't like. 3, help us grow our community by subscribing. This lets others know that this show is legit. 4, show us some love with a review. 5, share the show. Send it to your friends and enemies who are missing baseball right now. We could all use a good fix. Today, we're talking with Canes alum and San Diego Padres prospect Mackenzie Gore. He started his Canes career throwing low 80s, and now he's throwing upper 90s. He matured in more ways than one, keeps a level head on and off the field. Mackenzie shares how he was humbled by the game and his Canes experience. He is now knocking on the Major League Baseball door, but still looking to learn and grow and get better. Buckle up because Mackenzie absolutely brings the heat in this episode.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Younts here, and Jeff Petty with Canecast Show. Got another awesome episode and one of the top prospects in all of baseball today. First of all, let's check in with Jeff. Jeff, how things going, man? How you keeping all those Wilson Premier trophies clean up there on that shelf?
They haven't been wiped out since I got them, but I'm just trying to stay sane like everybody else.
Dude, I hear you.
Excited to have Mackenzie on here. It's going to be fun.
I know, right? So we got Mackenzie Gore of all people. Holy cow. So for those of you that don't know, Mackenzie, bring us up to speed a little bit about where you're from and a little bit about who you are right now, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. I'm Mackenzie Gore. I'm from Whiteville, North Carolina, and played for the Canes in I think it was my sophomore and junior summer in high school, and I'm now with the Padres. So that's where I'm at right now.
So where in the world are you? Where in the world are you right now?
I'm in Arizona right now.
Okay. All right. It's
stayed up. Weather.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Nothing wrong with a little nice weather while you're going through this. So what are you doing these days? I mean, I know, spring training and all that's going. What are you doing to stay sane during all this, man?
Yeah, so we're trying to stay home as much as I can. There's been a lot of golf in my schedule these last few weeks. So I'm just trying to work on the golf game. And
yeah,
are you any good?
I'm getting better. I'm not bad. I gotta get better so these older guys quit taking my money. So
I'm sure that they probably relish the opportunity to do that.
They don't feel bad about it.
No.
That's very true. So yeah, you're from Whiteville. Tell us a little bit about your, growing up. Tell us a little bit about, I guess before you got to high school, kind of what you did and where you played and who coached you and all that stuff.
Yeah, so White was a very small town, like 5,000 people. I was growing up there. I played around there. I played some Myrtle Beach, but I didn't really travel a whole lot, go play baseball. We had our group that we played with all the time. Then when we got to high school, my high school coach was Brett Harwood. Coach Harwood was great. He's one of the best high school coaches. I'd put him up there with anybody. He's won 5 or 6 state championships in the past 8 or 9 years, and so he's won a lot of games. He's a great guy, and he helped me a lot. My freshman year, we won a state championship, and then there was some noise started just because we were good and on a good team, and I had some success. And then my sophomore year, we did it again, and then that sophomore summer, that's when I started playing with the Canes, and that's kind of where started getting crazy after that. But it was a lot of fun, up to that point.
Yeah. So Jeff, what do you remember about Mackenzie as a player, as he was coming up? Because I know it's harder, when you're coaching our 17 and under team, but I know, given there was a lot of noise around Mackenzie, what did you know about him before he got to you?
Well, I I know that he hails from a town where there's a lot of baseball tradition and a lot of success around that Whiteville program. So there was buzz around him with the championships that they were winning that he just talked about. I do remember being in Atlanta, and it was when he was playing with our 16-year-old group. So this must have been the summer after his sophomore year, I guess. And I was there for some reason. I don't know why, but I was. We had just got done or something like that, and he was pitching day one, I think, of that tournament, and it was at a high school field. And I remember getting there, and there must have been 30 colleges there.
They left the sprinklers on that night, and it was a wet mound.
Okay. I think I remember that now that you bring that up. And I remember there being just so many colleges there to see him pitch that day. And I watched him pitch for the first time. That was the first time I ever saw him. Didn't know him personally, but got to see him pitch and watch his competitiveness, and he had a good outing. And I mean, Mackenzie could speak more to the college recruiting stuff. I had nothing to do with any of it. I wasn't really privy to any of those conversations as far as like, I'm sure that might have been Coach Harwood or maybe who his Canes coaches might have been involved with that. I don't know, but I do know the interest was a lot of people.
It was high really early.
Yeah. I mean, you could have just gone wherever you wanted to go, I'm assuming.
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, with that, I mean, I was kind of one of the later ones on that team. I mean, because you had Joe,
right?
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Maybe you could talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, there was a lot of schools that were watching and stuff. And, the thing with me, obviously I ended up committing to East Carolina. But I was like, I don't want to go too far away from home. But I ended up going just as far as I could. But,
right?
But through the recruiting, I was just like, I just want to go, somewhere, fairly close and just where I feel the most comfortable. And I ended up in East Carolina. So
well, and that's really interesting because a lot of kids get caught up in looking around them, and it's kind of like they feel like it's musical chairs, right? Like all my buddies are committing, and oh my gosh, and you had really the pick, think of where you wanted to go. I mean, a power lefty, everybody had heard about you. What made you kind of slow down that process a little bit? I mean, because we've got guys now who I know are looking around going, man, everybody's committed except for me. What made you look for the right fit there?
What made you not rush?
That's actually a really good question. But I think I just kind of trusted that I was going to be okay, and and then my parents were great. Throughout, they were like, well, you need to make sure this is where you want to go. And that's what I did. I took my time, and the places I really liked, I went to them, more than once, and I wanted to make sure I met, all the coaches and all of that. And at the end of the day, it's East Carolina was my, Cliff, and it was Dan Roselle.
Really good program.
Yeah, great program. Absolutely.
It's a great program, but I think I love that you just weren't so worried about like rushing to the finish line on it. Like you did your due diligence. That's really you were the same way with the advisor thing when you played for me.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone was a lot of stuff happened really quick. I remember we were in Atlanta coming off that long trip we were on, and I remember talking to the Perfect Game guys, and I was like, if you guys don't take him in this All-American game, like you've lost your mind. Yeah. And surely they ended up taking you, and you didn't even go to the national show. Well, I didn't do anything. all I had to do was just say, go watch this kid pitch. I didn't do anything. People ask about, you and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, all I ever did for Mackenzie Gore was write his name on a lineup card. I penciled him in, or I put him in a game. That's about all I ever did. But and you didn't go to the national showcase, right?
No.
You didn't even go. And they ended up picking you for the game, and then all these advisors were wanting to talk to you, and you and your family, you guys were not like all worried about it. You were just like, we'll meet with some people, we'll take our time. It's really awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's very different what we're used to. We're not used to that.
Yeah, that's the neat part of the story. Exactly. Is that he took his time the whole way through. Mackenzie, talk about that a little bit, you know, again, because there's all that heat on you, and yet you're still cool, calm, and collected, you and your family, you know, just going slowly through the process.
I'll start with the college, you know, the recruiting. I think a lot of guys sometimes they get caught up in, the big schools and the big names. That's awesome, but at the end, and then they end up not, playing there, and they just, and I think the most important thing is, if you can, go to schools and you feel comfortable there, that's great. But you need to make sure that's going to be your home for 3 or 4 years. So I think you need to be able to build a good relationship with the coaches and the staff and feel comfortable. Because at the end of the day, if you can play, it doesn't matter where you play college ball. The scouts, if you're good, they're going to come watch you play. And now that I'm in pro ball, I see even more of that. So I think
nobody's walking up to you guys or any of the guys there at spring training and say, "Hey, you went to such and such college." They don't give a crap.
Yeah. No. They're like, "Yeah, this guy can play." And
right.
like I said, if you're a good baseball player, the scouts are going to come find you. And I think the most important thing with the college is go where you feel most comfortable and you feel like you can, keep getting better for, 3 or 4 years, however many years it is. And then with the advisor stuff, the same way, like it's hard to do at a young age. And I think it's starting to happen a lot younger than it usually does. It used to when I was playing. But that's kind of a business decision. You got to be able to trust the guy, but you don't necessarily have to be doesn't have to be your boy. You want to pick the guy that you think is going to do the best job, for you and do things the right way. I think that's the most important thing, in this baseball business is try to find people that surround you that do things the right way.
Right. Well, it's not kind of a business decision. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a business decision, and it doesn't. And what you're basically saying, I know you feel this way, is like having an agent or an advisor to say you have one because it looks cool is really the wrong way to go about it.
Yeah. So I didn't get mine until I think it was January of my senior
winter.
Maybe December, January. Yeah.
And you were getting bombarded.
Yeah, and that's why we did it, because it was, as a family, we needed help, and so we went and got it.
But you waited.
Yeah.
Like you were getting bombarded, and so was I that summer. And you didn't rush to the finish line.
Yeah.
Like you took your time, and it all worked out. It's that is kind of a real cool part of this.
Yeah, and also I think part of that is, my parents, were really big on school, and during that summer, this has happened, but we were not really thinking that I was going to get drafted. To be honest with you, we were like, he's having a lot of success, and this is cool. But as of right now, he's definitely going to East Carolina.
I remember one time I told you, I think on the bus, I was like, "Hey, bud, like this is serious. Like, you might want to start changing your gears a little bit and start thinking about this." And you were like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, you might want to."
Yeah.
The funny thing, before that summer, I'd never been on an airplane, so.
Oh wow!
That was a lot of eye-openers for me. So
that summer was the craziest schedule we ever did.
Yeah.
I learned a lesson.
I think it helped me a lot. Being away from home for 22 days or something.
It was a long time.
It
probably did give you some help for some perspective reasons.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think it was looking back on it, like that was an unneeded trip.
That was a long trip, man.
It was long.
I remember watching from afar going, "Oh my gosh, man, that is a real deal road trip, man."
It was fun. It was something I'll never forget, but I since learned that like we don't need to do that.
I think we might have been burnt out by the last trip.
You think?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
But,
I think on day like 19, guys are like, "Yeah, I wouldn't mind sleeping in my own bed for a couple of nights."
Yeah.
That's too funny. So then you go. So you got an advisor. You have a great senior season, and the draft comes. Tell me about draft day. Tell me about leading up to that. What was your sense? What was going on? Because I know there's a lot of heat.
By draft day, I had a plan, and if I was going to it was going to happen or it wasn't. Honestly, I don't know why. I was a little anxious. I was a little anxious on draft day, but I was pretty relaxed, man. I hung out by my neighbor's pool all day, and my parents was like, "Hey, you probably need to come home now." So I was like, "All right." And so I went home and got ready to go, and then I got a call right before the pick, and it's like, "Hey, this is happening." And all I said, it was funny. They were like, I was just like, "Thank you." And I told Scott, I was like, "Yeah, thank you." And he's like, "Let me speak to your parents." It was funny because just like I was saying, I never got like crazy excited, but when I heard my name called, it was awesome. On the TV, it was awesome to watch, and my family was excited. But I had my family there, my two sisters, my mom and my dad, and my sister's fiance now, and my high school coach. So those were the only people that were at my house, and so I did all that. Got drafted, talked to AJ, and then later that day, the team came to my house, and they congratulated me, and that's how it was. So, but it was awesome. Yeah,
pretty cool. So actually before we get it too far into Pro Bowl, let's talk about your time with the Canes, because you had to play for some really good coaches. I believe was it Coach Connor was coaching you at 16?
Yep.
Coach Connor and Coach Petty. So you had two really outstanding coaches. Tell us about your time there, and I know you touched on the long road trip and how that helped prepare you for Pro Bowl, but talk about those two and how they were able to help you and help shape you.
Yeah. So when I was the 16 year, it was my first kind of taste of this travel ball thing, and first off, I had to learn how to read the schedule, the email they sent out the weekend before and stuff like that. Like the first time I read it, I was like, "Oh, I'm pitching on." Wait, no, I'm actually pitching today. So I had to learn that out, but it was cool. It really opened my eyes, and I got to play with really good players.
Right.
Like me and Jordan, we played together for 2 summers, and then now we meet again, and pro ball is awesome. And I think that was the biggest thing, being able to play with like really good players that had the same goals as you. And then when I played for Jeff, the travel thing helped me a lot, because like I said, I'd never been on a plane before. And
you better get used to that, buddy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah. So and then like a year after that, I mean, look what happened then. So
yeah,
I think the biggest thing was I had to learn how to it was uncomfortable. I was traveling a lot, and I wasn't used to that, but I had to, get used to being uncomfortable.
Sure.
Meeting new guys, that we really didn't have a whole lot in common other than that we played baseball. And that's the baseball world. You got to be able to, relate to these people that you play with. And I think that was the biggest thing that helped me is, meeting new guys and be able to pretty quickly be a team, so. And I really think that was the most important thing. And obviously, they helped me so much. It helped me so much, even with the recruiting and then the draft stuff. It put me on the big stage because I was playing, for the best team. But I mean, it prepared me for as much as it could for pro ball. To be honest with you.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, because you've had so much success, not only as an amateur, but then you get into pro ball and you've just kind of just moved through the system, and it's everything that all the attention that you get, you handle it so well. And I know you're close to your family. I know you're close to everybody. Whiteville, you have your group of people in your circle. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with all the expectations and stuff, man?
Yeah. So let's backtrack a little bit. So after my freshman year, I got an offer to, and I kind of went in my sophomore year. The fall practice or winter or whatever. I was feeling myself a little bit. And Coach Harwood, he brought me into his office after a practice one day, and he lit me up. He was like, I hadn't really done anything. He busted my bubble a little bit. And, after that point, it helped me learn how to – the noise is – like when people say good things about it, it's great, but you have to be able to kind of ignore it and keep going about your business.
Sure.
So I think that helped me a lot, and I've just kind of been able to do it, ever since, that point. Yeah, it's tough now, especially with social media, man. It's like it's just thrown at your face, and you tell people you ignore it, but you're going to see it. You just have to have a plan. You have to trust your plan, and you have to do what your goals are, not try to make other people happy.
Right.
And then like when I got into pro ball in 2018, I had that bad year. I was hurt for half the year, and I was at a bad place. Like I was not having fun playing baseball, but it was kind of a blessing in disguise. Then I had the good year last year, and then I'm in a great spot right now. So
it's pretty interesting. So I don't know if you it'll be released tomorrow with Chad Pender. And it's pretty cool that he had, he did go to college. He went to Virginia Tech and he played with the Canes and goes to Virginia Tech, does real well, gets into pro ball. In his first season, he had a bad year. And, same thing, you got to figure it out. So it's interesting to see that, people are either entering, at some point you got humbled. Thank goodness it was earlier, when you were younger, which taught you a lesson, put you on the right path and has kept you humble. But typically you find guys are either humble or they get humbled. It's good to keep that perspective as you're going through. And, struggling in pro ball, that's not easy, man. I know, trying to figure it out. So tell me a little bit about that. Talk to us about, as you're going through that season, you're nicked up, you're banged up a little bit, and you're not having the success you're used to having. How did you get through that? How did you push through, and how did you get back on track?
So 18 was my first full season. Going into that year, at that point I was the top left-handed pitching prospect. And then the blisters came, and I think it was the All-Star break. I had like a 10 ERA, like something crazy. Because I just remember I was getting ready for a start, and I looked at the scoreboard because they were just, my face is up there. And it's like, man. So, honestly, what got me going is Cliff called me one night. He said, hey, man, look, I know you're struggling, but nobody's going to feel sorry for you. So, you got to figure out how to, get through this and, just keep, pushing forward. And that's kind of where I was. I was kind of like sulking and like, I don't know what to do. And when he said that, he's like, nobody's going to feel sorry for you. That kind of got me going, to be honest with you. It was still tough after that, but that's kind of the way I thought about it. Like, nobody feels sorry for me is part of life, and there could be a lot worse things going on too. So.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's interesting because
Cliff's not afraid to tell you how it is, huh?
No. And that was a perfect fit for you too. I mean, that was, it shows that taking your time and going about your recruiting process the right way, actually, that a school you didn't even go to impacted you in pro ball. So that's really, really cool. I mean, that's part of the story that most people.
Well, it says a lot about Godwin. That
says a lot about Coach Godwin. Absolutely,
he's cared about you. And he's invested in the relationship that you guys have, and you never won a game for him, and you never will.
Yeah. So the thing about him, like my first 2 off seasons, I lived with him.
I knew that.
And then the thing is, that guy, he's tough on his guys, but living with him and knowing how much he cared about them and how much they affected him, going to sleep and stuff.
For sure.
Yeah, he's just great, man. He cares about. He cares a lot. So
no doubt.
And I can't thank just that program enough for, like I said, they've helped me in pro ball. So
yeah, sure. Well, and most people don't know that you struggled, right? Most people just see, especially in this era of all the social media, they just read the headlines and Mackenzie Gore is great. Mackenzie Gore did this and he did that. They don't know about the struggles, unless they're really truly a Padres fan or a Mackenzie Gore fan, which I know there's a lot of those, but. So you get past that, and last year, pretty good year. Yeah, I mean, compare your, I guess, your mental state. Compare, kind of the processes you're going to in 2019 when you're running well, everything's great, to kind of when you were struggling in 2018. I mean, what was the difference there?
So 2018 happened, and I've said this a few times. I was hurt. I couldn't really pitch. Then when I pitched, I was just kind of. I wasn't really 100% ever, but I told somebody, I felt like a kind of like a caged animal. And then 2019, like I made sure my finger wasn't going to happen again, and I came ready to go. And once they let me loose, I just kept going, and I was kind of on a mission. I had some stuff to prove. Like, I had to prove that I was good and prove to myself that I am, really good. So that's kind of what 2019 was.
I mean, part of that, isn't that navigating it? Like, I mean, as good as you were coming out of high school, you're still 18 years old. You don't have the pro ball experience. Your peers are going off to play at, wherever college. Like, you're flying across the country to live away from your family. You're having to navigate what professional baseball is. And then in 19, like, you have a nice baseline of, after 18's over, I'm asking you more than anything else. I mean, 18 finishes, it's like, okay, this happened, that happened. Then you go back to the drawing table and you're like, well, I have some experience now of what it's going to take. And then in that off season, if I know you like I think I do, you just did whatever it took to make sure you were going to be successful in 19. And you're the kind of guy, you're not going to fail easily. Like, that's not really on the table for you. You're going to do what it takes to be successful.
So honestly, the biggest thing 18 showed me was I knew, physically I was always a really good baseball player, but I had some work to do mentally. And so, yes, the off season after the 18 season, there was some, hard workouts and stuff like that. But there was a lot more mental workouts because it's a long season in pro ball and a lot of mental, strength that you hadn't had to use before, just to be able to get through every day. And so I knew after 18 I had to be better mentally. And that was part of my, my off-season program is to be better mentally going into 19. And I just try to keep getting better and with the mental side of things.
And that's really cool to hear because, there's a lot of guys that are super talented in baseball. They go and get punched in the nose kind of like you did in 2018, and they don't know how to pick themselves back up, or they pick themselves up and they go another couple years and they just kind of fade away. You picked yourself up, dusted yourself off, said, hey, I'm going to fix what I didn't do in 18, and I'm going to build on that. And 19 comes, you have a great year. You started out spring training really strong this year. It's neat to see that progression. And as you get older, you look for these things. But it's pretty cool watching you, how you've moved up and how you've just kept kind of adding on, for the last couple of years. It's been really neat to see. And it's kind of hard, especially if, really the last time you faced a whole ton of adversity was, your high school coach knocking you down in your sophomore year. So you hadn't faced much super adversity until you got to pro ball.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool to see, man.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And the thing about pro ball is, you're the best player, but everybody in pro ball was the best player. So welcome to pro ball, baby. Everybody was the best player, and this is big boy baseball. So that's kind of how it was. But
very neat, very neat. So tell us. So for those of us for those watching that don't know, tell us a little bit how your spring training started this year. Tell us some of the highlights there.
So I was a big league spring training, but I did not pitch a lot. I was kind of on. I was kind of slow playing me, and because expecting hopefully to pitch in later in the year because there were innings and stuff, and so I really didn't throw that much in games. I had my first outing; it was good, and then my second one really wasn't. I mean, it wasn't very good, but at that point, it was one of those situations you learn from it. The stuff was good that night. But coming out the bullpen, I just wasn't very good that day.
Right.
But it was awesome to be in the big league clubhouse, be with those guys, and just see how everybody handles their business, and kind of see how I handle my business and compare it to them. And it was just good to be around those guys.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, and just get to know them. And the biggest thing, like first spring training, I didn't say a whole lot. It was more just get my work done, listen, and just kind of watch guys. And it was awesome. It was fun, and I was in a good spot. I felt great. And then this happened. And
then they take you out and play golf with you and take your money. So
yeah, that's right.
So for those of you that have seen Mackenzie, you notice big high leg kick. Where did that come from? I want to talk about a little bit about mechanics there. Tell me something about that.
That's a good question. I've always done it. I was always taught, when I was younger, the guy that gave me lessons, he was like, turn, show the catcher your hip pocket. And I just, for some reason, I started turning and lifting my leg up really high. I don't know why. And just really the biggest thing for me was just repeat my delivery. And there's pictures when I was really small with a big old leg kick. So it's funny. I really don't know the answer to that question. It's not like I saw somebody and tried to throw like it just kind of happened naturally. So
that's pretty cool.
I never knew that.
I always see it, and I'm like, it's amazing to me how you can repeat mechanics and how you get to the same spot virtually every single time with those, with those moving pieces. Really cool. I mean, and honestly, I know a lot of people don't feel like it, but it makes you help the argument of pitchers are actually athletes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If somebody wants to come argue with me about pitcher being an athlete, I'll just, this is probably going to sound bad here, but I'll just tell them to find a better athlete. So that's kind of how I feel about myself. So
yeah, take it. So let's even back up. So speaking of that, you hit a little bit in high school, right?
Yeah, I used to swing a little bit.
Yeah, so, I heard.
And Cliff was going to let me at least try to hit in the fall. I don't know how that was going to go, but I was going to hit in the fall.
So. Never know.
Yeah, you could have been an All-American two-way.
And I'm hitting over 300 in Double-A, so I had my 3 at bats, and they got me 1 knock.
Here's where you lose people on the pitchers or athletes argument. Start talking about your 3 at bats.
You probably didn't know when you were doing that leg kick when you were a little kid that it was going to help you with deception in pro ball.
No, I did not. And the thing is, people picked on me for throwing crazy, but there wasn't a whole lot of talk about the leg kick until I got drafted.
Right.
And then there's a lot of talk now about it. So,
dude, it is that you hide the ball really well. It's deceptive, and next thing you know, you got you're coming out and balls on top of you. I mean, I saw a lot of the stuff. I guess you're throwing on backfields and live BP and stuff like that, and watching Tatis take uncomfortable swings on you. Do you take a little bit of pride in that when that happens?
I mean, yeah. The thing is, like, at that point, I hadn't thrown a lot, and those guys were in there to challenge me, and that's why I think we're in a good spot because we have a lot of good players. We can challenge each other. Like Manny was the first guy, and then it might have been like Tatis after him or something. So we had a lot of, and me and Tatis have faced each other before, so it's fun pitching against those guys, and also after you get done throwing, you can talk to them and what they saw and things like that. So. It definitely was a more intense live BP than the usual.
Yeah. It looked like it, man. It looked like it was.
I actually got to see that. I think I saw it live.
Yeah, it looked like a September playoff game up there, and he was taking swings, and he was like, "Oh man, that looked pretty good."
I ran into that on accident. I was on tour, and I was like, "Whoa, what Mackenzie Gore is pitching against Tatis and what's his face." Came over from the Orioles.
Manny
Machado.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, I'm going to watch this. So I sat there and watched it live on Facebook. That was cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
So we know this is a business, but tell us about some of the other cool things, like things that a lot of people don't see that you've got to experience through baseball in your short time in pro ball. What were some of the things, some of the highlights, I guess?
Well, I won a Texas League championship, and it was a different championship that I'd ever won before. But it was cool to celebrate, with champagne and all that. That was fun. So that was cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. And then
that's
to be honest with you,
isn't it?
Yeah.
From what I hear.
Yeah, it was tough. And then we was the first year we had, that minor league team in Amarillo. So it was the first year back, and then we won the Texas League. So that was a lot of fun. And then something else that's pretty cool is the Canes, me and Joe kind of being where we're at today and kind of the same place. We played together when we were 16 and 17, and our families they talk and they know each other, and that's kind of been pretty cool how small the baseball world is.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. He's been great in pro ball. And
that's wild. Yeah, the two of you guys coming up together is really cool.
Yeah.
And you guys have people say one of your names and then the other one just a lot of times just falls right out.
Comes up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
interesting. And I know when you played for the Canes, I know we actually shut you down for a little while, right? I mean, Jeff, do you remember that?
No, that wasn't my decision. I actually tried to talk him into pitching some in the fall. Like I really wanted him to come to Jupiter.
Yeah.
I thought that it would be a good experience for him just pitching in front of all those scouts and stuff. Because
right.
I mean, at the time, I thought that there was a chance, and I think that there was even on the table there for a while. There was a discussion like maybe I'll shut it down and work out and try to get hot again. But then it just became it didn't make sense, and obviously he didn't need it, right?
Right.
But it might have been a thing where we needed him a little bit more than he needed us. But Mackenzie was competitive. I think he was interested in the Jupiter thing because he wanted to win. And that was another reason why me and him got along so well because when Mackenzie gets the ball, he's not out there for fun. I mean,
he's not looking in the dugout for somebody to come get him.
No, he wants to win, and he takes a lot of pride in trying to help his team win. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, and then to be honest, the Jupiter thing was just me trusting my plan, kind of like what I talked about earlier. Every fall, I would shut down and I wouldn't throw for a few months, and
it worked for you.
Get ready for the spring. So that's kind of why we ended up not doing it. We were like, dude, and that's where it came. If I was like, if I'm good enough, they'll come watch me in the spring.
That's true, and I think I told you that.
Yeah,
I think
we
always had a good open line of communication. I think it was more. I'm saying it right now. It was more we wanted you to come pitch for us because we knew you could win a ball game for us in that environment. But of course, wouldn't have hurt you.
It would have been great too.
It wouldn't have hurt you to get seen by those people. But we did use them a little bit out of the pen that summer.
Yeah, we did.
I probably regret that honestly.
And I threw innings in high school. I think
we were trying to count innings at that point because they won the state championship.
And they went real deep. Yeah, and the neat thing, I guess the part I wanted to bring out was that, I think it's important for people, in like in your position, Mackenzie, to manage your workload. You knew what your plan was. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to get caught up in everything going on around you, the advisors, the potential draft, the recruiting, all of that. But it's more important to stick with your plan, especially since you knew when you started throwing in the spring and how many innings and workloads and stuff like that. And, it was, I know, Jeff, we're trying to manage all of that too. And I think it's super important. One of the things I know we work very hard at is communicating with the high school coach, making sure that we're all on the same page, as well as the families and the players, just to make sure, everybody does have a plan, because the majority of people, Mackenzie, don't.
Yeah.
Majority of people don't have a plan, and they just kind of, I'll throw here this weekend, and then I'll throw midweek, and then I'll throw here, and they're all over the place.
We've always had good arms and a depth of arms. I honestly, it kind of took off even more so after you left, Mackenzie. Like I'm looking at my board over here to the left for this summer. We've got 17 arms on the board. 14 of them are 92 or better.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad. But with you, I regret almost the way we handled that, but because we probably could have. You wanted to start, and you were the best guy we had by far.
Yeah, but that was where you thought,
me and Mills,
you were doing the right thing
about it.
There.
Yeah, we were trying to be safe with your arm. I think twice we didn't start you and we brought you in.
The second inning. Yeah,
it's too late.
I remember. Oh yeah, I remember.
We would have won that game.
And,
because they didn't score after that.
Well, I know that, buddy. Thanks for bringing that up. But it's too late. We bring you in, and we're sitting there thinking we can maybe win that game, maybe without you, and then have you the next round. But that was not the. Anyways, you live and you learn, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a good point. You say that, and it's funny, but I remember there was some games like, do we save them for game 2? Like that are in. Like, honestly, in high school, I was like, it kind of, if you want to win that first, win now, and then you can try to win the next one.
Yeah, so since then, you know how many times I've saved our dude? I don't.
You don't.
0.
And we've been on the good fortune of a lot of those championships since
Yeah.
you left.
You know, my team didn't win one.
I know.
We might that might actually have to be called the Mackenzie Gore rule.
Did we win that thing in New York City though? Didn't we?
Oh yeah, we did win that one.
Yeah. Because I there's an example. We played Team Elite, I think.
Yeah.
And we threw you.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, or I don't remember exactly how that. But then we were in Arizona.
I can't out the pen, but it was early.
Yeah, we were in Arizona at the World Series, and it was we started you. I was like, we ain't bringing this guy out of the pen.
And that was the thing. We knew it was my last start or my last.
Sure.
We knew it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So
yeah.
It was hot that day. I do remember that.
Yeah, July in Arizona is not cool.
No.
How is it now in Arizona? What
It's
we got?
nice now.
It's golfing weather, right?
Golfing weather. Yeah.
So when you say you're good at golf, what is that? Or you're getting better? What does that mean? I mean, you're like a 25 handicap. You 11?
No, my handicap right now is like 11 or 12.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm getting, like I said, I'm getting better, but golf is, I like doing it, but I'm one of those guys that everything I do, I want to be really good at. So
sure,
that's kind of where I'm at.
I'm sure you'll put some time and effort into it and get there. I want to ask you this. Your family they're solid, man. They're solid. Yeah. Your dad is a solid dude. Your mom posts scripture all the time and on social media, and I read it and like it all the time. I've even texted her a couple different times over the last couple of years where she'll put something up and the scripture that she posts that day or the story she posts that day really relates to what's going on in my life at that
which
time.
Is awesome.
Yeah, at that time. And I like thank her and she sends me a message right back and she's like, I'm glad that it did that for you or whatever. So, I mean, there's got to be a lot of perspective in that house. And then, your mannerisms and the way you handle yourself competitively, like not ever really like when you have had some failures or not getting too high or too low, kind of staying even keel, like kind of the perfect pitcher mentality, maybe on the outside looking in for me. And some people are like, well, you coached him, like, well, yeah, but I'm not in the inner workings of that home and how it worked and maybe it had to have something to do with it, your upbringing, like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right?
So they, my parents were great, just the way that they expected me to act and, carry myself. And then my two sisters, they made it where I couldn't get too high because they would bust the bubble quick. So I think having, those two sisters and, they're great. Meredith she's an awesome story. I just actually put her on my story today.
I saw that. Yeah. Tell people about it. Tell people about Meredith.
Yeah. So, Meredith's in a wheelchair. She just mild case of cerebral palsy, but she works. She graduated college. She drives. She just like growing up with her, and nothing ever stopped her. She never had the excuse, and
what an example.
That kind of she's kind of like we got the good parents, and me and Lexi are the younger ones, but Meredith's kind of the backbone. We all kind of look up to her, and just the way nothing has stopped her. My parents and me and Lexi. And she probably will get mad at me for saying that, but it's really the truth. She's getting married this December. She's all. And you talking about somebody that's competitive. And when she's at baseball games, she's there. She gets into it, and she loves it. So,
well, that's a great living example for you, man.
Yeah, it is.
Jeff, you mentioned perspective, and for a young, you're young, still young, but even growing up, you were, as a young kid, you had that perspective. Jeff, you mentioned all the perspective in that house, and just hearing the way you talk about your sisters. I mean, it's obvious that there's a ton of perspective in that house, and I think it really, as Jeff mentioned, just to reiterate, it really reflects in the way that you carry yourself on the mound, because you look unflappable, you look like you're in control. even though you may not feel that inside at times, you really do a good job there, and it's neat to hear the story and for you to be able to share the story, of your family, because, we talk about the Canes being family all the time. And, again, people don't get to see Jeff sending texts out or as Coach Godwin did to you, hey, you need to figure it out. Those things are important.
Yeah, and speaking to that,
baseball's hard enough, right?
And speaking to that, I follow your every move.
Yeah, like you send texts all the time, and it was my first spring training, and we went to dinner. So
that's right, and I care a lot, but I don't wear you out.
Yeah,
that's my thing. Like, I don't reach out as much as I probably even want to, just because I feel like there's it's leave guys alone, kind of, like you be in the background, and as long as you know that we care, like that, for me, like that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm probably not ever going to call you up. I'm probably never going to be the guy to call you up and say,
correct,
hey, you're struggling. You should do those days for me have passed, but there are a couple guys, like sometimes I'll call up Jake Cave or something because we talk all the time.
But Mackenzie knows that you're there if he needs you.
Yes. Well, if I ever needed anything, I know you're a call away. Yeah.
Well, I know that you're there too.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, if we needed you for something, like you'd be there.
Yeah.
So it's a two-way street for sure. And that we want to see you succeed, and we're following you every step of the way.
Yeah.
Someone like you deserves to have success.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate that. So.
Yeah, we sit back and everybody talks about you here, buddy, and it's all in positive, that we share Mackenzie's stories. We talk about, your outings. There's a lot of people, in the Canes organization that are following you and just admiring what you're doing. So, just want you to know that you always have support here. I know you have the relationship with Coach Petty, but you got a ton of fans.
Our whole coaching staff.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Coach Mills, everybody.
You're known as the guy that, you're a good guy. You're not going to change. You could be a Cy Young Award winner one day, be a perennial All-Star, and you work hard, and you deserve that success if that's what happens. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be who you are. Your baseball's not who you are. It's just
what we do.
Exactly. We used to say that, and you embody that, and you live that, and you're a living example of that. So it's awesome to see you have the success you're having, and much more coming for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mackenzie, any other things you do off the field? Anything besides golf? What do you do with your buddies there? I know not now, but what do you like to do outside of baseball?
In the off season, I hunt a lot. I don't live back at home now, but I live like 45 minutes to an hour from there. So I hunt a lot in the off season, and I really go hang out with the family. My sister's the guy she's marrying is fielding, as y'all know. So
yeah, you're good.
Good dude.
Yeah, fielding is a Cane now too. So we hang out a lot, and really that's about it. Hunt, golf, and hang out. So
yeah, that's good. Well, Mackenzie, we have a lot of Canes kids that are watching this. All the way down from our youth teams, all the way up through our high school showcase teams. What sort of advice, would you give them? Start out with the young guys and maybe the older guys as well.
For the young guys, just keep working hard, and hard work is, I really believe, in what gets you where you need to be. Don't get satisfied because of your success now. It's good to have it, but just there's always somebody out there that's going to be, as good as you, and or guys that are trying to catch you. So you either got to try to get better than that guy or not let him catch you. And for older guys, just have a plan and really trust it. And if they're playing with y'all, they're in a great organization like with the Canes. Y'all are great, and they're in a good place. So trust y'all and ask questions and just play the game the right way.
Very cool. Jeff, any advice to Mackenzie as he continues on his pro journey?
Man, I can't give that kind of advice. All I would say is this: don't change, man. Don't change who you are, man. Like, who you are is what we just got done talking about it. That's why we rave about you. It's the baseball side is cool. It's awesome to watch the success, but the person is better. So
thank you.
Yeah, man. That's all I would say.
Yeah.
We're following you, man, and just want to see it keep going.
Yeah, man. We'll stay up late on the East Coast to watch you, man. So you get into the Padres uni, buddy. We're there.
I don't care if first pitch is 10:30 p.m. out here.
Yeah,
I will make my schedule appropriately. I will be up watching for sure.
Nice.
No doubt.
Sounds good.
Years to come.
Yes. Well, you know what, Mackenzie,
we appreciate it.
Yeah, I can't say it enough how much we appreciate you. You know, you represent you, your family, and us the right way. And man, it's so cool to talk to somebody that is confident in themselves and humble enough to stick with your plan and to trust those around you in your circle. So really appreciate you. You've given a lot of great advice to our kids and players and their parents. I mean, dude, not just a big league player, but a big league person as well, man.
Yeah. So, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And hey, anytime.
Dude, you're a dude. We'll check back in with you, buddy. We're going to check in with you before baseball kicks up. We're going to find out if you've lowered that handicap. Let's see how competitive you are.
Well, it should be.
Keep that money in your pocket.
That's right. Don't let them take it.
Take care, brother.
Sounds good. See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining us. Wow, what a great episode with Mackenzie Gore. Give him a follow on social media at mgore181 and give him a shout out for his appearance today. If you enjoyed this episode, do us a favor, like, comment, subscribe, review, and share. Give us a follow on social media at CaneCast Show. You can reach out to me directly on social channels at Rob Younce or email me directly at robyounce@gmail.com. You can find Jeff Petty on social media channels at WJeffPetty. Give him a follow. I welcome your feedback as we look to improve every single episode. Until that next episode, stay safe, wash your hands, and remember to be humble, or this game will humble you.